Hello, hello. I hope you are having a great day. For those of you joining live, good morning. Happy Thursday. Today is our February Masterclass for the Pause Collective. For those of you watching the recording, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. I'm so excited that you are here watching the recording. So today is all about stress and cortisol and how to rewire it. Because for a lot of us, our nervous system is actually running the show. And we'll dive into some signs and symptoms that come up when that is happening as we go through. But if you have been feeling wired but exhausted, this month is for you. So, as usual, we have a workbook. We always have a companion workbook every single month. For those of you who are a Pause Effect member, meaning just a member of the website, you don't even have to be a member of the collective. You have access to this workbook at no additional cost. It comes every month in the newsletter, and you'll have access to it in the newsletter. For those of you who are Pause Collective members, so you're a member of our group collective, our community collective, and this is in the chat for you. Your link is right there in the chat. So you can download this if you haven't already done so. This workbook always comes out on the first Wednesday of the month, and it gives you a week's time to kind of go through the workbook and do some reflection practices and some stabilization practices and some other things, just some pre-learning before we dive into the masterclass. It's not required that you do your workbook before you see me. Nothing in this realm is required. That's why we record it, so you can watch it when it works for your schedule. But every single month, we always have workbook. So this is the Rewire Stress and Cortisol workbook. For those of you who aren't a member of the website and aren't a member of the collective, you can find in the show notes the link to purchase this workbook, and it's just $7 for a simple purchase. You can go grab that, put me on pause, and then come back and start me again. So let's dive in. So, if you have been feeling tired, but truly unable to relax, also known as wired, you have been more snappy or emotionally reactive to things that typically wouldn't cause you to snap or react. Typically, these are small things. You've been gaining belly fat despite doing all the right things. You're eating the way you're supposed to be eating, you're working out the way you're supposed to be working out, but for some reason, you're now starting to gain belly fat and you never have before. You've been feeling foggy or forgetful or just kind of like slow in your thinking. You're walking into rooms and not remembering why you're walking into the room. You're trying to think of words and you can't figure out the word. The big one for me for the longest time was spoon. I could not remember the name of that utensil. And so I would say, you know that thing, it's a fork, but it's round. And everybody just laughed at me. It was months that that happened to me. You wake up at 2 or 3 a.m., you're constantly craving sugar or carbs. I want you to know if you're feeling any of these things, nothing is wrong with you. It's just that your nervous system may be running the show because of chronic conditioning, and we'll walk through what that means. So, the habits that we have that keep us living in this survival mode, that keep our body having our nervous system run the show, is constant pressure on ourselves. Pressure to be a good mom, to be a good girlfriend, to be a good wife, to be a good sister, to be a good aunt, to be a good, you name it. And you're not allowing yourself to truly recover. So you're not sleeping as long as you should be sleeping, which for women should be between 7 and 9 hours, closer to 9 for most women. You have a heavy mental overload. And mental load means it's like all of the tabs. If you can't see my screen, but if you could see my screen, I've got like 17 tabs open. It's like all of those tabs being open in your brain. I have to go get the kids' shoes. I have to make them breakfast. I have to do my meetings. I have this with my client. I have an appointment that I have to do. I need to fill out paperwork for my husband. I need to, name all of the things that we have running at all times. That is your mental load. You're powering through exhaustion. You're tired. You know you're tired. You know you need sleep, but also you know you need to do all of the things that are on your list to do. So instead of resting, you're just powering through. And you're feeling behind constantly, that you're always running behind, even though in reality you're not. You're right where you need to be. But that's not an easy thing to hear when you have a to-do list that is longer than, a store, a, retail therapy receipts that sometimes we do, or, a long grocery list. When we have to-do lists like that, it always feels like we're behind. So let's talk about just some stress physiology 101. I'm not going to go deep into science. I'm going to just braze over the surface level of this. If you have more questions, you're always welcome to put them into the chat, and I will watch for those messages to come up and I will answer them either as I'm going, if it makes sense to answer, or I will wait till the end and stay on for a minute to answer your question. So, your primary stress hormone, which is cortisol, is produced by our adrenal glands. It is designed for short-term survival, not to stay elevated all day. And so our natural rhythm is our cortisol peaks in the morning to wake us up. It starts to decrease in the afternoon. And then as our circadian rhythm sets, which means wake up with the sun, go to sleep with the sun, as the sun starts to go down, our our melatonin production starts to increase, which helps keeps our cortisol down, which helps us go to sleep so we can repair and recover while we're resting. And then it starts over. And then to wake us up, the cortisol peaks around, 6, 8 a.m., whatever time it is. It's usually when you wake up, usually 14 hours later is when your melatonin increases so you can go to sleep. And so, whatever time that is that you wake up, in general, you should be going to bed about 14 hours later if your body is operating on a good circadian rhythm. If you're anything like me, that's a work in progress. So, this chronic stress disrupts our rhythm. So, what does that look like? Acute stress is when we have some stress, we deal with the stress, it comes back down with a short activation, and we get to recover afterwards. This would be like if a tiger is chasing us, we run away from the tiger, we survive, we do not get eaten by the tiger. Okay, we can calm down. Our heart stops beating, we can relax a little bit, and we're not worried about getting eaten by a tiger. When we have chronic stress, it stays high and it stays up at the top like we're being chased by a tiger the entire time. And the crazy thing is, our adrenal system and the process to activate our adrenal system is kind of ancient. And so it doesn't know the difference of us being chased by a tiger or our husband stressing us out because he didn't do what he said he was going to do, or our kids stressing us out because they had a field trip or a soccer game or whatever the case it is, and they didn't keep us in the loop, or a client dropped something on our desk last minute and or our boss, whoever, boss or client dropped something on our desk last minute and says, we need this immediately, stay and get it done. Whatever the case it is, could be even emotional stress. Our body doesn't know the difference. And so it still secretes and signals our body to secrete cortisol, our stress hormone, as if we were getting eaten by a tiger or about to be eaten by a tiger. And so when we're in this constant realm of activation, our body doesn't rest. And the crazy thing is, we are creatures of adaptation. So our body gets used to this and our body adapts to this. So back then, this, we're at a 0 for our stress level. This is our 10. We are 10, peak stress. Come back down to a 0. What happens when we have chronic stress is we go up to that 9 and we are staying up here in this like 7, 8, 9 area. And 9 felt like a 9 when we were used to 0. But if you pay attention, 0 is kind of like right here now. And so what used to be a 9 starts to become a 6. And then when we get even more used to this being baseline, starts to feel like a 4. And then even more used to this feeling like a baseline, it starts to feel like a two. And this, even though we're up in this seven, eight, nine, we've adapted to it. So we're living in seven, eight, nine, but it feels like for our awareness, it feels like a one, two, maybe a three. But our body knows it's not a one, two, or three. Our body knows it's a seven, eight, or nine. So what happens is when we have acute stress, we get activated, we respond, we come down, we get to recover. This is a healthy form of stress. Our body needs that activation and that recovery that helps with resilience, that helps with an immense amount of things. It's called eustress, EU stress. When we have chronic stress, we just keep in the loop. There is no time to recover. We are just stuck in the loop of high stress and reacting and high cortisol and feeling like we're getting chased by a tiger, even though it doesn't truly feel like that in our brain, but in our system, that's how our body reacts to it. So when stress never resolves, our body stays in this fight or flight mode or survival mode rather than finding balance. And that creates a ripple effect. That ripple effect goes through our entire body. Stress affects our entire body. And so a lot of times when you go to the doctor, they're like, oh, you're just stressed. But they don't explain this to you. They don't talk to you about how stress actually affects your body. They don't talk to you about you're so adapted to the stress that you don't know you're stressed because when you go in and the doctor says you're stressed, you say, I'm not stressed. And then you get stressed because he's saying you're stressed. And then that makes you more stressed. And it's just a cycle. And so what is missing is education around stress. And so today we get to learn the ripple effect. So when our stress stays really high, one, think about when you're getting chased by a tiger, all of the reactions that happen to your body, your heart rate increases, your everything is going to start going, your system's going crazy. It's just trying to protect and survive. And so what happens is our blood sugar changes. It goes up. When a cortisol goes up, our blood sugar goes up. When our blood sugar goes up at a consistent chronic rate, our insulin goes up. When that happens, our fat storage goes up. And so when we're stressed chronically, our body is going to start to have more fat. It's going to gain more fat. And most specifically, it's going to start gaining fat around our organs because our organs is what our body is programmed to protect. Our body is always programmed to survive. That is the first and foremost thing that our body needs to do. It is going to survive. It will shut down other systems that aren't primary systems for survival if necessary. And one of the easiest ways to protect ourselves is fat. Fat is cushion. Fat protects our organs. Tiger's teeth is going to go into the fat first. If it doesn't go all the way into our organs, the fat will potentially stop it or at least slow the damage. And so that fat around our organs is called visceral fat. And then once we've started to gain visceral fat, we'll also start to gain subcutaneous fat, which is the fat that you tend to see. And this is why we get belly fat, even though we are doing all of the right things. It's actually because our body is operating from adaptation and survival. We also have decreased thyroid function. Our estrogen and progesterone start to get unbalanced. Our sleep quality diminishes, and our emotional regulation is no longer regulated. So stress is chemistry. It's not, none of this is your character. It's not that you aren't doing the right things. You're not working out enough. You're not eating little enough, even though that's a lie. And we'll dive into that another day. All of the things that we tell ourselves, we're not good enough. We're not doing enough. We're falling behind. We're falling short. We're not pushing hard enough. All those things are not true. It has nothing to do with our will. It has nothing to do with our character. It has nothing to do with what we're doing. It has everything to do with chemistry and hormones in our body. And so the first hormone hijack that comes is estrogen and progesterone. For cortisol to raise, it has to pull from something else for it to raise. And so first it's going to pull from our progesterone. Our progesterone is a hormone in our body that is often referred to as a reproductive hormone.
Mhm.
However, I don't like that because there's a lot more things that happen with progesterone than reproductive stuff. And so this is our calm hormone. This is the hormone that helps us feel even keeled mentally. It also has a lot of other things, but it directly relates to our brain. And so when our cortisol pulls our progesterone, our mood starts to get wonky. Our calm starts to diminish. And on top of reproductive factors of progesterone and mood factors of progesterone, it is also our hormone that helps us sleep. And so when our stress goes up, our progesterone gets pulled. We don't have enough progesterone to do all of the magic that our body does to go to sleep. And so we start to have insomnia. What also happens when our progesterone decreases is there is a significant gap between the amount of progesterone we have and the amount of estrogen we have, which causes estrogen dominance, which creates a whole nother realm of symptoms that can be anything from bloating, breast soreness, headaches, you name it, there's a bunch of things that come into play. But in general, this hormone hijack is going to intensify your anxiety, intensify your depression, drastically alter your mood swings. I used to call them rage attacks and cry attacks. It creates more irritability and it drastically disrupts your sleep. So, just a little recap on the one that I hear women talk about more often than anything. Sleep, I hear a lot about, but the one I hear the most about is our belly fat. And so, what is happening is a biological protection. Again, keeping our the tiger's teeth from getting into our organs. So the cortisol spikes, our blood sugar rises, our insulin um, sensitivity starts to increase, and then fat storage starts to build. So, belly fat during this season of our life is not failure. It's not that you're not doing the right things. It's not that you're not eating the right way. It's not that you're not working out the right way. It's that your body is signaling you that stress and cortisol and other things are not in even homeostasis, even balance. Okay, so into the thyroid function and our brain fog. This is a common symptom I hear as a precursor symptom. It's an early stage symptom that fatigue is increased, brain fog is increased. You start forgetting the names of words. You start to forget why you walked into a room. Your focus decreases. Your concentration becomes less consistent. And this ongoing stress reduces your thyroid hormone conversion. And additionally, it slows your metabolism. So there's another reason why eating the way we're eating isn't helping is because our metabolism is beginning to slow. So if your brain starts to feel a little bit slower, it's just part of the ripple effect. Then we go into sleep at a little bit more of a fine-tuned realm. So we have a cortisol spike that happens when our stress is not on its even curve like it should be. And we get an elevated nighttime cortisol, which is going to reduce our ability to have deep sleep, sometimes even REM sleep. And so we're not getting the restorative sleep that our body needs. It then causes us to wake up typically around 2 or 3 in the morning. And it leads to a heavy morning fatigue where you wake up and you're like, I need coffee just to function today. So let me reassure you, you are not bad at sleeping. Your body is just on patrol. It's like you've created, what is that town that's really high crime rate? Starts with a C in California. See, here's what's happening. My brain's not working. Um, You're probably all saying what it is right now. Compton, thank you in the chat. And there's a lot of danger happening in your body. And so your whole body is up doing late night patrol because there's danger and it's afraid. And that tiger could be coming. And your body's on alert to make sure it can run when that tiger comes, even though there's no tiger. So, regulation is the step that we need to take to rewire this path. And so, when we're in our fight or flight, our digestion slows down, our repair slows down, our hormones destabilize. And that's not just estrogen, progesterone. That's estrogen, progesterone, thyroid hormones, cortisol, neurotransmitters. So many things destabilize in our body. And so when we can focus on regulating, when we can focus on resting and digesting, healing can begin. Hormones can stabilize and our emotional resilience improves. And so the goal is to learn what your body is signaling and increase the safety that comes when those signals come. So when you're getting brain fog, say, why am I getting brain fog? Not, oh, I can't remember that word. When you have a 2 or 3 a.m. wake up, say, why am I waking up at this time? What did I do yesterday to make me not have sleep like I need to have? When your moods start swinging like crazy, ask yourself, what's happening? Why are my moods swinging like this? Rather than, doing SSRIs or something else. Now, some of you need that, and that's totally okay. But a lot of us are prescribed things that we don't actually need and that can be altered with lifestyle. Now, I'm not a doctor. You need to talk to your doctor to see what is best for you. But with the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women that I've worked with, along with myself, more often than not, it's lifestyle adjustments that need to be made. So, in your workbook, there is reflection pages. So, if you go to the reflection section of your workbook, you will see a couple questions. Where in my life do I feel constantly rushed? And how do I know when my body doesn't feel safe? If you don't have answers to these questions yet, that's okay. Be aware this week. Set the intention to listen to when your body signals you and not dismiss it. When we dismiss what our body is telling us, we're basically doing what my doctor did to me and what many doctors do or people do. And we're gaslighting ourselves. We are saying, oh, you don't feel that way. You're fine. Let's move on. Instead of saying, okay, what's going on? Tell me about that. Why am I feeling this way? I'm aware of this. Okay. And so awareness is the first step. And if you don't have awareness right now, that's okay. There are many of us. I was there. I've done horrific things to my body because I didn't have awareness and I had the mindset that I just needed to push through. I needed to overproduce and overachieve and overperform and do all the things that I thought were necessary because of my personal conditioning that I have done. And I didn't have awareness. My body has forced me to have awareness. And I would love, absolutely love, to prevent every single one of you from being forced to have awareness. And I would love to help you learn awareness before your body forces you. So, again, if you don't have the awareness yet, that's okay. If you do have the awareness, these questions might be easy for you. Maybe they're not. And maybe you also have to be more aware this week to figure out what the answers are. Some simple tools for regulation is the psychological sigh. This is something that you will hear commonly. If you start paying attention, you will now hear it more often. But our body will naturally sigh when it's going from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic nervous system. So our awake, aware, prepared to our resting, quiet, calm versions. And when we do that, you'll notice your body will go, and you probably don't even realize you're doing it. You probably don't realize a lot of people around you are doing it until I start to make you aware of it by talking about it. And now you're going to notice it all the time. And so when you relax, when you have a psychological sigh, our body will naturally relax. So you can either wait for your body to do it, which sometimes won't happen because we are always in our sympathetic system, or we can induce it by doing a psychological sigh. And we can do it together. You're going to take a really deep breath in. And then you're going to do an audible sigh out. We're going to do 2 more. Deep breath in, audible sigh out. You might notice like some tingling, some feelings happening in your body right now. We're going to do it one more time. Deep breath in and the audible sigh out. And let you just feel that for a minute. Another thing you can do is get out into the morning light first thing. As soon as you wake up, or as soon as the sun is up, if you are a super early bird and you wake up before the sun, you're going to get out and just spend 10 minutes in the sun. Doesn't need to be a lot. You can just do a little 10-minute walk around your neighborhood, around your house, sit out in the backyard, play with the dog, whatever it is. But just get 10 minutes of morning sunlight into your retinas every single morning. So you don't need to like directly look at the sun because that's really bad for you. Unless you're wearing some kind of protective glasses or something. But it's just getting out in the sun. It's only 10 minutes. It's recommended you don't do sunscreen for those 10 minutes. If you're going to do longer than 10 minutes, then you will need sunscreen. You want a protein forward breakfast. That breakfast can look like whatever you want, but we want to stabilize our blood sugar. And the easiest way to stabilize our blood sugar is with protein. And this is why, if you have followed me for a while, you know how heavily I talk about having a high protein diet. That would be over 100 grams of protein per day. And so a high protein or protein forward breakfast could be a protein smoothie. It could be eggs and your favorite breakfast protein with some, potatoes or hash browns or something like that. It could be avocado toast with eggs over top and a protein shake on the side. Excuse me. My favorite, and it's a little bit of a hyperfixation right now, is sourdough toast, cottage cheese, put a little black pepper on top, avocado that's been smashed up with a little bit of lime, and then fried eggs over top. I usually do 3 or 4 eggs. And then I have that as my breakfast. So you're getting protein from the eggs, you're getting protein from the cottage cheese. And then micro pauses. These are just really simple things that can take you 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minute, just really simple, aware, present moments of taking some breaths. So a lot of times when our cortisol increases, you'll notice that your shoulders come up. And naturally, your shoulders are a little higher when you have higher cortisol. And that's not true for everyone, but it's true for most. And so right now, you can kind of see where my shoulders are. When I actually pull them down, can you tell that? Yeah, you could tell. This is where they should be, but this is where they are right now. And so you naturally pull your shoulders down and you just take a few breaths. I like to do box breathing because it's the easiest for me. You just breathe in for a count of 5, hold for a count of 5, exhale for a count of 5, hold for a count of 5, and repeat that 5 times. Some people like to do different numbers for their breaths. My brain gets confused and I forget which number I'm on and which number I'm supposed to do for what. So I just do a box breath. It's the easiest one for me. And these are little things that compound over time. So consistency matters more than intensity. When stress rewires, this is not a quick process. Most of you know, because you've heard me talk for a long time, or you're already my clients, or you've been in my realm for a while, that nothing I do is quick. Working with me will not create quick results. You might start to have symptoms change quickly. You might have some relief quickly. But as far as the overall change that needs to happen, we were doing lifestyle changes here. And it's been however many years you are old, that many years of conditioning your body to operate the way it is, it takes time to decondition that. So none of this will be quick, but belly fat becomes easier to manage, sleep improves, brain fog will lift, energy will stabilize, emotional reactivity softens, and overall you start to feel calm in your body again. You feel like your body is yours again. I have so many women tell me, I feel like there's an alien in my body, or I feel like my body got hijacked, or I feel like my body is no longer my own. And this helps you to start to feel like your body is yours again. Again, you might have some women experience symptom relief within a couple weeks. Some people experience it within a few days. But as far as the overall changing of our nervous system taking control takes some time. That could be months, it could be years, depending on how much you have conditioned your body to stay in the sympathetic rather than the parasympathetic. So those of you who are in the collective, you already know this because you are not navigating alone. You are part of this collective. If this masterclass resonated with you and you are not part of the collective, It's because your body is asking for support. It's not asking for more discipline. It's asking for softness, not structure. And that is why I created the Pause Collective. It is a safe, guided, sometimes I make typos, a safe, guided community for perimenopausal and menopausal women or women who are just trying to figure out what's going on and want to prevent the symptoms to be as extreme as they hear others. The old way before coming into the collective is you're running on empty, you're trying to hold it all together, you're feeling like you're going crazy, your hormones are getting hijacked, everything feels chaotic, you feel like something is off and you don't know why, you feel like you're going crazy. And the new way, once you're part of our collective, is you feel supported, you feel grounded, you feel confident, and you're surrounded by other women who get it. You get to go from a place of survival mode into a place of thriving, a place of support. What that looks like is it's 4 weeks. The first week, you get a downloadable workbook. Week 2 is today. It's a masterclass. Week 3, we do a live Q&A connection call. And week 4 is a private member session. Every month stands on its own, so there is no pressure, there is no falling behind, you're not missing out on anything. And if you're in the collective, you have access to all of the recordings and all of the previous workbooks. So you can go back and do things on your own as you would like. If you're someone who likes to do things a little bit quicker, if you want to take your time, just hop in, join with us. You can go back to the recordings anytime you want to. So we have launched this not very long ago. So we are still doing our founding member special, which is $47 a month. Normally it's $97 a month. And the total value that you get from the on-demand masterclass vault, from working directly with a menopause specialist, from having the downloadable workbooks, from having the time of our masterclasses, from having the Q&A sessions together, from having all of the tools and resources that I create for you. It's a value of $5,860 that you get for only $47 a month. Or if you want to go all in on yourself and really create the investment and really create that commitment to yourself, the investment is $470 for a year for our founding members. Now that special will go away once our founding member number is filled. So I would like you to pause, reset, and rise, no matter where you are in your journey, no matter whether you're part of the collective or not. The fact that you watch this today, that you're using a tool, a source, something to learn more, you just made a small shift today. You just learned that you are not alone today. And that small shift will create an even bigger ripple in your life. I wish you all of the best. I saw some questions in the chat that I did not answer as I was talking, so I want to make sure I answer those. So I'm going to stop the recording so I can answer those questions for the people who are here live. And I will see you all in week 3 next month, or not next month, next week.